Do you remember all those lines that we rehearsed? At 2 minutes 30, you say whores, and at 3:35, I say gypsy, ginger, outlaw.
That's for Bret Michaels. We didn't prepare for this one.
Oh,
what do we do
wrong
here?
video. Let's just start.
So if you guys want to see this video unobscured, so we had to do countermeasures deploying because YouTube copyright blah blah, so it's going to look like this. Sorry. If you want to see it in its full entirety, it's going to look like that on Patreon. We don't do that on purpose. We don't have a plan for any of this. It's just whatever we can put on YouTube, and we'll put on YouTube, and fortunately the pretty funny stuff we have to put on Patreon because that's the only place it can exist.
So Chris does the post-production, and if it were up to me, we'd obfuscate everything. In the interest of viewers and subscribers and people that are members and Patreon members, we're gonna do like a good version, I guess.
The Patreon
is free. Yeah, and Patreon paid for the pizza. So
yes.
If you want to be paid for the Patreon pizza party,
pick a.
Christian and I have been married 15 years. We've been married since the day we met. We were married 7 hours into our first date on a blind date. I took her out. It was a very good date. I got incredibly drunk. Took her back to my house, made a big pass at her. She pushed me back. She said, I should have told you this earlier in the evening. I'm a Christian and I'm not prepared to do that till I'm married. So I opened the Yellow Pages, found a minister, and married her. The next morning I said, listen, lady, I had a lot to drink last night and I don't even remember your name. And she said, oh, it's Mrs. Bonaduce. Try not to forget it.
I was gonna say, Kyle, let's remind the audience why we're doing this, and then that happened.
because just like Rock of Love, Daisy of Love, and Flavor of Love, we like romance stories. I found that to be very romantic.
Aww.
Aww.
Our 18% female viewers, they're taking over.
It's gone up.
It's gonna go down because of this.
So Danny Bonaduce was the drummer for the Partridge Family Band when he was like 8, and then he became a roided out rage machine.
Yes.
And got his own reality show for that very reason.
Yeah.
And now we want to check it out.
Danny Bonaduce, former child star.
If I weren't the guy from the Partridge Family, I'm just a lunatic.
Danny Bonaduce, husband.
Without Gretchen, I'm a 30-second soundbite. Danny Bonaduce, ex-child star.
He married her the night he met her.
I take enough pills to get.
So she is just as crazy as he is in some regard.
Oh, sure.
How the hell do you marry somebody that night? And Danny Bonaduce, I mean, he's recognizable.
Right.
I get bent. I don't love me.
The therapist.
If you ever been unfaithful to your wife, then my whole life would not have imploded.
Who is Danny Bonaduce?
I'm a car crash, man, and you have every right to slow down and watch the car crash.
I will do that.
That's what we're doing. We're going back. We're circling around.
Right.
All right, 101, LA.
And when Danny Bonaduce fought the world, he won.
He won.
Subject.
He may have beat up,
It just feels,
Greg Brady, but
Right. He beat up the Brady Bunch.
that's true. He's really betting on the overhand right. That was legit.
Yeah, I saw that
That
one.
was legit.
He beat up the Osmonds.
This, he is really going for that overhand right. If Danny,
Ooh, body.
don't do that. And that one Survivor guy.
And Survivor guy. Yeah, he he messed that guy up. Ooh.
So
His shoe fell.
The cause of all the problems in my marriage. And there are very few. It's a very good, strong marriage. Except that I happen to notice the breasts on that girl right there. See, that stuff makes you wrong. See? This is just not my fault. How's it going? I have a $250,000 car. There's such a star.
yeah.
So he is a kind of a car crash train wreck.
Yes. Okay, so this is when he does have his radio show. So again, he has a persona. He's putting stuff on. You listened to his radio show a little bit, right?
Well, I used to listen to Danny Bonaduce when he had his own radio show on Howard Stern on
so years
Sirius
later.
Satellite Radio.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty funny because, you can say poop and butt and everything like that on the radio over on Sirius Satellite Radio. You can also pour beer in Richard Christie's butt and see if he can taste which beer it is.
I see.
And 3 out of 5 times he got it right. So, Sirius Satellite Radio, I'm a fan.
Anyway, so he did have a radio show. Getting back to fuck.
You just Bret Michaels me. You're like, anyway.
I'm not going to show a picture of Richard Christie's butt. Or
Do that, it's bad for you. And my daughter said to me, and I swear to God, Dad, I saw the behind the music on you.
But you know what? You can do better with Dante.
With Dante, I didn't even child-proof the house. I just figured eventually he'll get tired of banging into
That's a boy. So he has 2 kids. I didn't know that.
I did marry him on the day that I met him. It seems really odd. I mean, it is really odd. But I have met so many people that have said, you know, the minute I met this person, I knew that was the person I was going to marry. So we called.
But they don't do that. They don't marry them within 8 hours.
No.
No idea.
And that's not such a big deal. I mean, I get why they're making it a big deal because it's wacky and crazy. But, you know, that says a lot about both of their personalities and what they're willing to do. I mean, you're jumping out of a plane and didn't test the parachute.
Right. But the reason I think it's romantic is because she said that she's Christian and that she wants to, you know, saving it for marriage. And he's like, okay, well, let's go get married. And now they're still married. So she adheres to all the other values that go along with that. It's like once you get married, you're married to Danny Bonaduce.
Yeah, and then they got divorced 15 years later.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Anyway, yeah.
Romance is dead.
A lot of issues that you want to look at
So then they go to therapy.
one at a time.
The particular thing that we want to talk about today is Danny had an affair not too long ago, and I've been trying to deal with the damage of that. Looking back on it now, I should have seen it.
I actually told you it was happening.
No, you didn't.
I gave you a pretty clear heads up.
Okay.
Do you remember this conversation? Honey, I know you don't like sex. Somebody better start having some sex with me soon.
So the reason that you had the affair was because you weren't having sex.
You know what?
You know
think
what?
you've got
When
it,
this
it slips
affair,
the other
wait, I have to
direction.
get this in. When he was having the affair, he was getting the relationship that he deserved. No, we were not having sex because he was having sex somewhere else. He wasn't getting any sex from me, and why should he have?
Having that affair meant when you were withholding sex.
This just got real fast.
Yeah.
At least that she's not a pushover. At least she's
Right.
like,
She's written him. They're all like,
because he could just steamroll and BS.
Right.
you know, like me and the kids didn't even exist.
Gretchen, I got to tell you, I mean, that freaks me out.
It freaks me out.
That's so, like, over the edge. I'm trying to understand how that happens. How
This is such a tone shift. I mean, he just
Right.
dove right off a cliff.
Hey, but I'm Danny Bonaduce.
He is a sex addict, totally.
Do you think you're a sex addict?
Yeah.
Identification.
Okay, I got.
And now it's showtime in the morning, everybody.
In the not too recent past, I had a talk show. I got this talk show, and I got a little bit big for my britches. And things were not going particularly well at home, and the fact of the matter is...
Hold on. Having done a little bit more research, putting together a compilation list of Danny, I saw clips of his talk show, and it is god awful.
Let me tell you the truth. You are looking at a very nervous host here today. Today's show is a lot more than just a show to me. It's a very real family reunion with my TV family, the Partridge Family.
Oh, daytime TV.
Yes.
So it's like Ricky Lake.
Yes.
Oh, who wants that?
Clearly no one did. But that was during this time. He was saying he get too big for his britches.
Subscribe for more Danny Bonaduce, everybody.
It's got the best of me, and I had an affair. My wife did not discover this. I confessed. I did it.
High five?
Eh,
I mean, I could take some sort of beating if that's what you want.
Oh. Those are all the phone calls.
oh my God.
And I said, you can say whatever you want, but just really be careful because you cussed 3 times when you were on the phone with me. Good. Hold the line. Now, do not cuss on the air. Just hang on.
But in the past 3 years that I've listened to you, Danny, I seriously have thought every single day, the way that you tell Gretchen you love her and the way that you talk about those children, and I'll tell you this right now, I praise Gretchen so much for standing by you.
So do I.
You know,
Nothing's admirable about
an
it.
adventure with you, and then you produce
It's a betrayal on a
pig.
You
basic
have
level.
publicly humiliated your wife.
He's wearing a mask of a human at that point.
Yeah, he's a douchebag. Oh, I missed that mouse.
And I won't have that happen again. And I've talked about us being in counseling for a very long time now on the radio, but I never specifically talked about an affair. And I thought, here's an act of contrition Gretchen will understand. I'm going to put my career on the line right now.
Hello?
Honey, I'm going to have to turn down your radio.
So he goes out of his way to bring this up and then just take fire all day on his radio show about how he cheated on his wife.
Right. And if you listen,
You know, I mean, I never.
He's on a radio station that's for women that don't want that to listen to that guy all day.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why he wasn't on for a long time.
Right. The band I was in, our main fan base was moms, and they don't want to listen to Danny Bonaduce talk about how he's banging everything that walks.
In between the songs?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and now it's going to be happy pancakes.
I'd be in the situation in the first place. And secondly, I never thought that I would stand for it, you know, but once you have kids, put them first.
That's her on the phone.
You know, that's what I did.
Do you have kids? You have kids?
We have 2 children.
He doesn't even know. What kind of intake do you do as a
I know.
My daughter.
This is why you're in therapy, is because of those kids.
He might be like a TV therapist. Like
Maybe.
He's working with the producers on what questions to ask to kind of roll the show along.
Tell me about your penis.
I'm going to watch my step.
Well, it's freckly.
With your children. Because if there's one thing that's sacred to me, it's how parents treat their children and what they teach their children by modeling in their behavior.
You can bang out all the cliches you wish if it'll make my wife feel better. Cross the line with my children and we'll have difficulties.
Okay.
Okay, little man.
I'm guessing that you get by now, I'm not my biggest fan. Do you get that by now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And you know what else I'm guessing? I'm guessing that you really are a good father. And I want you to
Thank
tell
you.
me how you're a good father. That's what I can't get. That's
Because
what I want to know.
You know how
tell
I'm a
me
good
what
father?
life is like
I
at
teach
home.
them not to be like me. Are you happy?
No, you don't. You show them exactly how to do it.
I know.
I did not do a lot right. I'm 45 years old. And I didn't do a lot right. I just taught them to be better than I.
You're supposed to.
What, Chris, what do you want, a cookie? Really focusing in on is how he bullshits.
Right.
Because all of this sounds like complete bullshit to me.
Well, yeah, when you're out banging people because you're a sex addict and you're like, you know what's more important to me than anything? My kids and my marriage. And like you're talking to the chick that you're banging, probably. Like, it doesn't check out.
They know better in a way because I've been deceitful. I don't tell them I know this from experience.
Yeah, he's another damaged child star. His parents probably stole all the money. He turned 18 or got emancipated, and
That's sad, but what I'm getting at...
it doesn't excuse anything.
But what I'm really getting at is even this seems rehearsed. It sounds like he's planned this out in his brain. And
Like he did this in the mirror before he went to therapy.
And this is what his radio show sounded like. This is what his interviews on other stuff sounded like. That's my concern, is that this is a big mask that he puts on in front of his wife, too, not just the camera.
He might not understand emotions.
Why?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, sometimes sex addicts do it because they don't have emotions and it's the only thing that they can feel.
Yeah, let's hold off on believing him in sex addiction just yet. I like the character and all that. I don't like what he does with his kids and stuff, or how he treats his kids, but I'm just saying, I don't go out of my way to hate on him. I actually like a lot of his old stuff.
Well, the thing is that we were raised on television. We've watched a lot of television. It's fair for us to react to television that we've seen. And, not everyone agrees with us. Like when we call people old, they don't like that. I say Corey can dance. You say that he's a pretty good dancer.
You know a lot of things. You wouldn't happen to know my daughter's birthday, do you?
Not bad, bro.
All right.
Hi, can we get your name, please?
Isabel.
This is weird.
I really do.
This is what he thinks childhoods are, so he just
You're
has
right.
his kid do it.
You're right.
Right.
This is good dad mode for him.
Yeah.
Oh, or normal dad mode.
Actress who you don't end up reading about, Robin the...
I'm teaching her the better way to be a child actor.
I think I did good.
Excuse me?
I think I did great.
It does bother me that I have been instrumental in giving children actors a bad name.
Well, I'd rather now that you direct your attention to giving adulthood a good name rather than giving child acting.
Very good point.
Yeah, right.
And look how he takes it. He's like,
I know.
well, that's not part of the narrative I'm telling right now.
I didn't rehearse for that.
Ready?
We both were like, that's not going to hold your weight.
That's a really good poster bed because I used to set those up when I delivered furniture in San Francisco, and all of those would have broken.
Well, it helps he weighs like 120 pounds.
There was a lot of people that tried that and then called us and was like, hey, my bed broke.
She won't go.
Why Tell me again why you won't go with him to Las Vegas?
Well, just that I don't feel like I need to do that. Why should I be doing that? That's insane. I have
Priscilla Presley, doesn't she?
Yeah. I was just getting that vibe too.
making choices that are healthy for our
Naked Gun.
Agree with you. Do you think that's where he is? Is he able to make those choices?
I don't know. I think now that he's not drinking, I think it's definitely less likely that he'll do something.
Great editing.
I don't need to drink to fuck up. Nice place. Spanish Revival. That's a big bed. For a little kid.
Don't talk about my children. Don't talk about them.
Vegas. I'm begging you to come to Vegas. You should be flattered.
Did we miss something? I didn't skip ahead or something.
Grateful and much more comfortable if you would come with me.
I just don't feel like I'm
So he's going to Vegas, and he demands his wife come with him.
Afraid I won't deliver. I'm afraid.
And he's afraid of cheating.
Right.
That seemed really forced.
What else does she have to do? Just go.
She's chilling.
They have a nanny.
She's not going to go with you. What do you think is going to happen?
I think this such a
With a house like that, they have a nanny.
I think he's gonna tag team Bret Michaels and bang some Hughes.
Some Hughes.
I take a pill called Antabuse. What that does essentially is turn alcohol to formaldehyde on contact. If you took one in the same day as drinking, you'll definitely go to the ER, you could die. I switched them with aspirin 3 weeks ago. I haven't taken Antabuse in 3 weeks, but taking bare aspirin.
What the hell is that? What
I
is
don't
that
know.
about? Are you setting yourself up for a drink? Because this is the deal breaker in your relationship. The way you're kind of flirting with danger. If you get busted with your pants down somewhere other than home again, that, we got a deal breaker.
There's part of me that says, I can do this. I can go to Las Vegas, do my job, and come home to my family. And there's another part that says, well, if you confess your dishonesty, you're being honest, therefore hypocritical.
Oh, no, here's the deal. That's what's given you permission your whole life with her. He's been drunk. It hasn't been him. It's been the alcohol. So now it looks like you're sober. If you slept with somebody, man, she's out of there unless she found out that you switched 3 weeks ago. How freaking clever is that, Danny?
Pretty clever.
That's really clever. And really shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I'm getting at. He seems to have an act going 24/7, and that's incredibly difficult for a non-psychopath to do. Not that he's psycho. He's still an old man now. He had actually, when I was looking up his old stuff, he actually had brain surgery.
Really?
Earlier this year, survived. But that's why he looks kind of older and disheveled. Not disheveled, I'm sorry. That's why he looks older and more weathered, is because he just had that brain surgery.
Getting crazier and crazier every time, man.
So he's in Vegas. You poor baby.
Right. So he's gonna perform. People don't realize the hardest part of performing is just waiting and waiting and waiting and doing nothing and having nothing to do.
1,000 times. One of these days I should get around to writing that joke. Yeah, no, there's a big crowd down there.
And again, he kind of grandizes stuff, and this is a big show, and
This is like a radio show.
No, it's not.
It's like a
You walk in, you go.
300-seat theater in the side of one of the
yeah,
casinos.
and it's okay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
It's
but
still a performance.
It's not like I'm going to Vegas and it's a huge show and I need you with me, Gretchen.
Right.
There's going to be hoods everywhere. I would have gone to see him. For the
That's not even
That's
300
not-
people. They pumped up the applause.
Gretchen is at home. God love this woman. She's a saint. But sending a guy like me to Vegas by himself is like slathering Roy up with A1 sauce and throwing him back in with that tiger.
Oh,
That was really sad what happened to him. But
100% committed to this right now, or do you have any kind of...
he taunted tigers for 30 years, and then something happened, and people were surprised.
Thank you again for coming out. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming.
what starts? You're basically by yourself
Yeah, people are talking to you because there's a television camera.
with a bright light and a boom mic.
I'm not discussing my penis with this lovely young lady.
She's like, who are you?
Right, and he's drinking water, he's laying on girls.
Women everywhere.
Hello. Oh my God.
I say women everywhere. They walk up like that.
I love you.
love me? He did not specify women as incredibly attractive as yourselves. Oh, yes! Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm willing to say he's way lower than Bret Michaels in terms of like
Way lower.
star power.
Yeah.
But he's acting like he's above that.
Some of these are fabricated. Like they made some kind of free party that where you could get like 5 drinks for nothing and meet Danny Bonaduce.
Lost control.
What? No,
Oh, the 2 girls in gold, shiny clothes just.
How about just not go there? How about just not let people take shots off your stomach?
Which is not, in my mind, manly.
No.
It's kind of weird.
Too much.
Like for him to be this manly, tough rogue kind of, that's, why don't you put some whipped cream on your nipples and have a dude lick it off? Just not cool.
Don't threaten me with a good time. He's got Aston Martin.
Did he drive home? No, he was
He's
at
not drunk.
Person I've ever loved.
Why didn't he just leave right after the show?
Right.
They needed B-roll. They needed, look, this is a show.
This is to create drama. That was a fabricated party.
Things could happen.
How'd you get home?
I drove.
You drove? Why?
Because I didn't want to stay there anymore.
Oh, so he just came straight home.
Yeah.
Which you can look at 2 different ways. One, oh, see, he's trying hard. And the other one is, that's a really desperate move, then he doesn't trust himself at all.
It is a desperate move, but he already saw himself going down the path. He's like, why did I go to that club? Why did I let that girl take a shot off of me? I need to get the fuck out of here.
I get that, but that's also a desperation last move.
No, it's totally desperate. He shouldn't have been in any of those situations. He should have just stayed in his hotel rooms.
Okay, he has clothes on. He has clothes on.
Yeah.
Since I saw you last, I actually became a certified personal trainer.
Well, karate, running, working out. He was just being a little odd.
I'm in a pretty bad mood.
You're scaring people. People are scared. He's having some kind of a breakdown.
I never expected any of this.
Will you leave if he doesn't get treatment for his drug abuse?
I don't know. My daughter, you should have seen her last night.
No, please stay where you are.
Why are you doing this?
Here's all the people that were waiting for you.
Can you guys go? I don't even know what he's got in his system.
What part of no you get? Back the f*** up!
Something's got to give in this relationship.
I'm gonna remind this guy.
Oh my goodness.
Not healthy. What's been going on?
I see my marriage dissolving.
Danny, I have to go.
This guy's incredibly volatile.
He is and he isn't. Again, he turns it on and he turns it off.
What would you say was your most destructive behavior?
The crack was awful. Yeah, the first hit I took was my best buddy had discovered it.
He did crack?
I finally went to his house, and there he was. And I
It's not that crazy.
I said, you gotta come.
It's around. Pee Wee Herman had some.
We need to go outside. No one okay.
It's around.
Do you think we could sell my car?
Danny Bonaduce, former child star.
People think that's an exaggeration. It's not.
Really, people just fall in love with it?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it happen.
Or driven by it? Instantly?
Yeah, for sure. It's very powerful. You can get off like a rocket.
In our first few sessions, we've talked about the affair. We've talked about the current problems in your relationship.
Moving on, past all that, I guess.
Right.
That's how therapy works.
So anyway.
Today.
So I just started blasting.
Here.
Who is?
And I really want to
I just started blasting who's.
drug and alcohol use, and I'd like to know, where do you think it came from? Where do you think it started as it relates?
The cellular level.
It's going to be a long.
Can we go deeper than mitochondrial?
String theory.
Right.
What do you want to know?
I want to look generation before you.
No, I'm the guy.
Yeah, nobody, your father never drank,
Nope.
never did drugs?
Yeah, your grandfather or your great-grandfather did. Don't
Right.
BS.
And angry. And good at both. Related to us or not, you walked in my house and you were afraid.
Of?
Violence, any second, anytime.
That's one thing that I'm so proud about Danny is that with our kids, he's not that way. And I think to break that cycle has been pretty amazing.
I mean, through therapy. No, you can't. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
That kid has a seatbelt behind her.
What a terrible father.
Well, you're not supposed to do that.
Sizzler!
Scissor!
Where's the seatbelt on the little one? She was like hanging out on the dashboard. It's not 1977, all right? You can't do that. Because that's what I did in 1977. I stood up in the front seat of a van, and that's how I just drove around town.
That looks really
Did they?
He has a $250,000 car and he's eating at Sizzler.
Did they do a sponsorship with Sizzler?
They might have.
I think that's exactly what they did.
Brought to you by Sizzler.
Yeah.
Why do you keep saying that? Because they pay me when I say it. Thought you were the smartest guy in the world.
What movie is that from? What is that movie from? What is that from?
Sometimes if we grow up in an abusive household, even though we may not carry that on, we continue to be abusive to ourselves. And I think that Danny may be that way with himself on the inside.
You know what, that's as good a theory as any, because I often wonder why I've done the things that I've done. And, you know, I must have wanted some kind of punishment. On the other hand, I feel sad that my wife has to grasp at such straws to say, isn't that a wonderful thing? My husband doesn't beat his kids.
Good. Let's see the shaving of the chest close up. That was good editing.
Can we slow-mo this to get more of it somehow? I mean, I'm not going to look at the screen. I'm just going to assume it's amazing and wait for the slow motion version of it so I can really see
Absorb it.
Just let me know when it's off the screen.
It's off the screen.
Okay.
He is ripped. But again, steroids.
Right.
And we're not making that up. He talks about he shoots steroids on this show.
Yeah, we saw him do it already.
What kind of move is that? That's a lot of weight.
Gotta get that pump. That's what Schwarzenegger calls it.
Oh, I think since I saw you last, I actually became a certified personal trainer.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Look at this. I'm so proud, because this was hard to get. I'm surprised these muscleheads can remember all that information. It was a lot of information.
Well, I'm not a personal trainer, but I've also never tried.
Women do you train as opposed to men?
He can help you eat pizza. You get a card for that.
He trains all women.
How old is the oldest of those women?
Oh. You may as well just ask what breast size is the smallest.
Right.
Incline presses right here. Want to lay down for me?
Sure. On my back?
Yes, on your back.
Wait a minute. He drives an Aston Martin, he does little tiny shows, and he's a personal trainer to just random people. Where is his money?
Think about how much Danny Bonaduce can charge for an hour of personal training.
From women like this, they're not going to pay him for that.
I think it's $500 an hour.
They don't even know who he is.
I think it's $500 an hour.
Come on.
Besides, Aston Martin's brand new are $250,000. In 3 years, they're $100,000. In 5 years, they're $50,000. So he might have bought a $50,000 Aston Martin and said it's a $250,000 car.
And then tried to pump it with steroids. Why don't you go in? Go faster.
Really go south in a relatively short time. You have an obsessive.
Let me sip my tea while I pretend to listen to you.
I think he does personal training as a hobby, not as an income source.
If it's all women and they all look like that,
right,
that's definitely his hobby.
Right. If he's smart about investing, he might have come up with some kind of portfolio that keeps him going.
How do you know about cycles?
Oh, I just been around the block.
No, I am not currently on steroids, although they do appeal to me. I have a serious issue with food. I can't get any bigger because I won't eat. The amount of food that you have to eat to get bigger, to repair the damage to your muscles, is a phenomenal amount of food. And I've been fat my whole life. I was the kid in the swimming pool with the T-shirt. And I just can't bring myself to eat that amount of food. And I'm about to do
well, it was low resolution in the 70s. I don't really remember.
Oh, the bit rate didn't transfer the pounds?
Right.
That means really fat people were incredibly fat.
The camera adds 10 pounds to you. How many cameras are on you?
Let me tell you what happened to me today, and you can tell me as Dr. Gene Simmons, Dr. Simmons, if I did the right thing. All right.
I think it's an honorary doctorate. I don't think Gene Simmons has a real doctorate.
Sure.
Since you've never done them, you don't really know what they do, but they do affect your moods very radically, and your perception of yourself and your perception of the world.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
This means
etiquette.
Fuck you.
Wah, 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 wah.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Remember when we were talking about steroids earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he has some.
Like readily available in the room.
His kids are in the other room.
His kids in the other room, yeah. Is that how you do it? What is he doing? What is he doing?
Come on, Danny. Don't wimp out.
That is a hideous dog.
Editing is crazy.
Well, it's supposed to be, right? That's crazy,
right?
Ugly dog, kids running around, steroid injections.
Yeah, it's probably a $3,000 dog. He's got money.
So he can be consistent.
Right.
Good, move around over there. It's okay. Good. Good, a little bit higher with the...
Look, what's up with that camera?
I don't know what that is. Photog-wise, I have no idea. Video guy.
Great.
Okay, so he...
Ones where I look my best, not just some old fat guy in your magazine.
You look great.
Not bad for at least 30 of my 45 years being completely debauched in drugs and alcohol.
Oh, it's like some kind of Insta camera.
It's coming off like a really kind of alone... When he's not kind of BSing and when he's not kind of controlling the room with whatever he has planned on saying, it's a void. He's in a void.
And he's fearful.
Yeah, you're right.
He's ready for everything to fall apart and for everyone to make fun of him again.
You're right. He
Yeah.
keeps bringing all that stuff up.
Another party going on in the cellar.
Yeah.
You're 45 years old. I mean, there has to be a point where one grows up at some point, I would think.
Certainly hope so.
Yeah. I don't know what that point is.
Yeah, right. I'll play you in poker. I think that's what's going to come out more and more in this show is that these downtimes when you read in between all his isms and his confrontational moments with people, when there's downtime, I think you get to really see that kind of loneliness and aloneness that he's in.
Yeah.
So, how are you? Good?
I'm good.
So I imagine that when our YouTube arc starts going back down, we're going to experience a lot of that.
It has already.
Oh,
So
has it?
We're in it now.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
You don't know what Mackenzie does?
I don't think so.
I was sure I had mentioned this. This is not the kind of thing that would slip one's mind.
Is it something that is weird or something?
Yes. Gay pornography. Gay girl pornography. Hot lesbian action. That's what it says on the cover. Hot lesbian action.
Are you kidding?
It says hot lesbian action on the cover.
Of?
That's so bland.
Cover of what?
Whatever.
I missed it.
Deeper than I'm going. I don't know her that well. She gave me a couple of her movies once, and that was the entire length of our conversation about what she does for a
Wow,
living.
did you throw them away?
Yes. And then I poured holy water on them.
I don't want that stuff in the house with my children.
That's fucking funny.
Well, now she's not being realistic about
Right.
men in general, not just Danny.
I don't want it in my house with my children. Oh, well, it's my house too.
There's the thing now called the cloud, so it's not in the house.
Right.
Sometimes they rent these places,
Yeah, that's true, but... And that bed was way too big for a kid, and there were no toys.
And like, why the Spanish theme for...
Well, it's LA.
For children, though. Like,
I hadn't thought about that it might be a rental out place to make it look better.
These two women, and one of them is a hairdresser, and one is a porn star. So I'm not happy about that.
First of all, she's a lesbian porn star, which makes me feel very safe. Shouldn't actually do it with guys.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Danny, you're missing the point.
Blah, 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 blah.
Still, we want to create a sense of trust, we want to increase intimacy, and we want Gretchen to feel safer and to feel more confident in your commitment to...
So less body shots from random women in Vegas.
Right.
I guess. I'm sure you didn't tell her about that.
No.
You said...
She'll watch the show, though.
And be horrified, yeah.
Horrified.
They talk about that in season 2.
Ah.
They talk about season 1 and season 2.
Get me to play!
And it's weird raw stuff, like that radio thing.
I can smell your butt from here.
Here we go, Danny. 10 seconds.
You're listening to Danny Bonaduce.
Such an idiot. Let me tell you what happened to me today, and you can tell me as Dr. Gene Simmons if I did the right thing.
All right.
I train people as a kind of a hobby.
You're looking good, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was a lot of effort. And
You're a powerful and attractive man.
Thank you.
Exactly.
You're toy like a toiger.
Her out.
Right.
Turns out it's in the adult entertainment industry.
Right.
My wife said today in therapy, I want you to stop training that girl, and I said, okay.
Here's the problem. You have to be nice to the person who has a potential grab of 50% of your gross pre...
That's all Gene cares about.
I know. He's so money focused.
I mean, he never got married either, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but I know you can buy a Kiss coffin.
Yeah.
Hello, Gretchen. Okay.
He's on the phone with Gretchen now, on the line.
Yeah, he's got Gene Simmons on the phone with his wife.
Let's get advice from Gene Simmons.
That's pretty funny.
He's probably getting blown right now, Gene Simmons. Like,
hey, honey, if you don't believe me, let's see what Gene Simmons has to say. That's going to work in my marriage just fine.
So,
whether you want him to.
Well, that's very nice, but no.
All right, hang up.
You see why this show didn't work? I mean, the radio show, it's like,
I could not appreciate it.
It's kind of really cringy and not really, I don't know. I can't describe it just yet.
He's trying to make it like edgy.
Yeah.
And it's not coming off as edgy, it's coming off as douchey.
Yeah.
Bonaduce.
Oh. I'm sure he's never heard that before.
I don't think that's how you do a makeover.
Do something powerful.
Black eyeliner. Black eyeliner. That's power.
Hey, that's Brett Michaels territory.
Let's make you a football player.
Boo, S-U-C-K. I-sick, S-I-K-E.
Back at the gym.
Yeah, they followed so many celebrities into their personal life that they started just following anyone they could get their hands on. And I kind of think that that's what this is. Following the Osbournes, it was interesting because Ozzy is like a gibbering train wreck. But I don't think it's that interesting for that long. Some people said, hey, why don't you guys watch the Osbournes? And I can't really take that show.
I watched the whole thing when it came out.
Right.
And loved it. But, I actually went back and found it and watched about half of the first season, was like, oh, this doesn't hold up well.
Right. No, the great thing about the Osbournes, I keep wanting to say the Osmonds.
I know.
The Osbournes was that it was the first time you ever got to look kind of behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And part of it was, it's like, oh yeah, Ozzy has to go to the grocery store and he fucks up the grocery store, and it's like, oh yeah, he's just like us. But when you see, oh, Danny Bonaduce, he's just like us, it's like, who gives a shit? Of course he's like us. He's washed up like me and Chris.
We never were. What are you talking about? Washed up? I wasn't on a hit show as a child.
You were on a hit show as an adult. It's called Back to the Sofa.
Now we sound like him. We gotta go do this huge show thing.
Right. We gotta go sit on a couch and watch TV and talk over it, and part of the talking is gonna be that we missed the TV that we talked over.
Okay, now I'm stuck.
But why would I do that?
I don't know. Why would you do that in here? I mean, this is crazy. I want to get up and come across this table.
Because here's how simple it is. She's all mad that I'm going to train Mackenzie or any other woman. I won't ever do it again. Now she's not mad. Yet Mackenzie's not out of trainer.
Oh, man, that just is awfully dangerous behavior.
By the way, this is the point where a lot of doctors throw me out.
Oh,
Say,
with good reason. With good reason. My responsibility is to keep working with you in the ways that I believe would make your life better. I can give you insight, but insight doesn't make change. You can know why you're making these ridiculous choices and choose to make them anyway, which is what you do.
It's what he's always done.
Yeah. This therapist is actually kind of insightful.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't like, I would say this isn't therapy, but maybe it is for like a Danny Bonaduce type.
Right.
Of internal chemicals.
Isn't there a door eventually where if you pick that door often enough and safety lies behind it? Behind door number 3 is safety and a good life. Wouldn't a reasonable, rational human being go through door 3 every time?
Yes,
and I don't.
There's a road before door number 3 that takes you through a forest full of excitement and fun and risk, and you believe that you're going to end up in safety. When you make these choices, you don't think you're going to go down the tube.
Right.
You think you're going to have a hell of a ride, but you're going to end up just fine.
Behind door number 3, no matter what road I take.
That's why you do that. So, I mean, there's nothing crazy about that.
Really?
It's time to grow up, though. At 45, you've had 45 years of going through the forest to end up at door number 3.
Yeah, so he's understanding and using his logic and rationale in a different way. He's not just going up against it and saying that's completely wrong.
He's applying his own logic to himself, and he's like, this is what you think's gonna happen. And he's like, yeah, and it's like,
oh my cholesterol.
Then choose it now. It's time. You had enough time to figure this out. You've already figured it out, and you're still not doing it.
And then he goes,
your blood type is great. Actually going by choice to get an entire physical. I'm just assuming he got my blood work back and, has concerns.
You're more steroids than blood.
I bought these steroids in Mexico. I just want to make sure they're not bleach.
Hey.
Hey, DC. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Could have been Panama. Not racist.
Busy. Very, very busy.
Staying out of trouble?
That's a dentist chair.
All right, I'm gonna lean you back.
I know. What are we gonna do?
This is called a cardiozone test, and what it does, it's an ultrasound of your carotid artery.
So he did have heart problems throughout his life, even during this time.
Oh, you know what helps with a lot of heart problems? Steroids.
Tons of steroids and lifting heavy weights all the time?
Yeah, lifting heavy weights, doing amphetamines. It's all great for your heart.
Oh, good. Then this is good. Door number 3.
I think this is door number 2.
If he realized...
No, I'm pretty sure it's door number 2.
Often...
Everything's going to be all...
Everything's going to be fine. Yeah, exactly.
Also not going to live in a fool's paradise and think, you know, I think I live with a guy who's not well, and I think I'm always going to live with that guy.
You won't. Ask me how I know.
I tell you, you still have the atherosclerosis going on.
People don't change that much.
You know, in the carotid artery here, feeding your brain, so you're prone to a stroke. It's going on through your kidneys. It goes on throughout your body. So I personally will prefer that we work on minimizing your risk factors, smoking, blood pressure. I know you work out a lot, but improving your diet.
So are we discussing like imminent doom or?
Well, let me put it this way. I had a 37-year-old guy that was going to join me here.
Yeah.
Dropped dead of a heart attack. If he had had this test, he could have made the changes in his life so he'd be able to watch his kids grow up.
I love him.
Rationalize that shit, Danny.
Yeah, right?
After 15 years...
I need to go back to Vegas.
Do you want to take a shot off me?
Right.
And all of this would be a lot funnier and more acceptable if he didn't have children.
Right.
He has 2 humans to look
He's
at.
a role model. Like Brett Michaels.
Don't talk about my kids.
Still concerned about Danny's anger issue.
He's dangerously imbalanced.
Excuse me one damn second.
I don't want to be in a room with all this yelling that's going on.
She's right. He is dangerously unbalanced. That's why the producers want this.
For him.
If only the show was about helping him change. But
Did he
it's
break
not.
his fist right now? That they're implying that he broke something.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to need a lot of comments to keep going on this one because this is a little bit out of the kind of thing that we usually do where it's not quite as fun. It's a little darker. So definitely comment below if you're connecting with the show and let us know why or not.